At first glance, no one would have guessed that Adam was anything more than another quiet, unassuming teenager. He wasn't the type to attract attention. A lean build, slightly messy dark hair, and eyes that seemed to always be deep in thought, like he had a world inside him that no one would ever understand. He didn't care much for fashion, didn't walk around in the latest trendy sneakers or wear flashy jewelry. He didn't need any of that. Adam was just ordinary. Or at least, that's what people thought when they first saw him. But there was so much more to Adam than what met the eye. Adam had a past that no one at Riverstone High knew about. His life had never been easy. Growing up in a tough neighborhood where danger lurked around every corner, he had to learn how to defend himself early on. His parents worked hard to keep a roof over his head, but the streets were unforgiving. It was the kind of place where you either learned to stand up for yourself or risk being taken advantage of. And Adam wasn't the type to back down. While other kids his age spent their afternoons playing video games or hanging out at the park, Adam spent his in dingy gyms, drenched in sweat, fists pounding into punching bags. His coach was tough on him, yelling at him to go harder, faster, better. Adam had learned discipline, strength, and how to defend himself like a fighter. But even though he was getting better, he always kept it to himself. No one needed to know. Fast forward to the day Adam walked through the gates of Riverstone High for the first time. It was a big school, the kind where the halls were always full of kids rushing between classes. The noise of lockers slamming, kids laughing, and teachers yelling out instructions was deafening. But for Adam, it was just another day. Another place. Another crowd of strangers. No one really noticed him at first. He kept his head down, hands in his pockets, a faded backpack slung over one shoulder. His quiet, reserved nature made it easy for him to blend in, to go unnoticed by the masses of teenagers with bigger personalities. But as soon as he stepped into the cafeteria, things were different. At one corner of the cafeteria sat three boys who ran the school. Everyone knew them. There was Max, the leader, tall with a sharp jawline and a smirk that never seemed to leave his face. Then there was Daniel, the biggest of the three, his arms like tree trunks, intimidating to anyone who crossed his path. Finally, there was Ethan, the smallest but the meanest, with a sharp tongue and no fear when it came to picking on others. Together, they were a nightmare to everyone in school. And when Max laid eyes on Adam, he saw something familiar: an easy target. A new kid, quiet and alone, just waiting to be taken down a notch. It didn't take long for Max to call out to Adam. He stood up from his seat, the cocky grin spreading across his face. "Hey, new kid," Max called, his voice loud enough to grab the attention of everyone nearby. Adam, who had been minding his own business, didn't even flinch. He turned slowly, pulled out his earbuds, and looked at Max. Yet Max leaned back in his chair, Daniel and Ethan flanking him on either side. "You know, we've got this little tradition around here. New kids like you gotta pay a welcome fee." Ethan cracked his knuckles, and Daniel flexed his massive arms, both of them ready to back up whatever Max was about to say. "A welcome fee?" Adam asked, raising an eyebrow. "Yeah," Max replied with a grin, $50. You know, to help you settle in." Adam didn't react. His calm demeanor seemed to throw the bullies off. He didn't look scared. In fact, it almost looked like he was trying not to laugh. "Sorry," Adam said, a small, amused smile tugging at his lips. "I don't have $50 to spare." Ethan stepped forward, his eyes narrowing. "Did we say it was optional?" His voice was darker now, a threat lingering in the air. Adam didn't flinch. Instead, he looked Ethan straight in the eye and said, "I'm going to give you one chance. Walk away." There was a moment of silence. The three bullies exchanged confused looks. Did he really just say that? Max broke the silence with a loud, mocking laugh. Walk away from you? That's hilarious. Adam's expression didn't change. Okay, he said, his voice calm but firm. Don't say I didn't warn you. Before Max could even process what was happening, Adam moved. It was almost too fast to see. With a swift motion, his right fist slammed into Max's stomach. The air rushed out of Max's lungs, and he doubled over, gasping for breath. Daniel charged forward, trying to land a hit, but Adam sidestepped with ease, his legs sweeping Daniel's feet out from under him. Daniel crashed to the floor, his massive frame hitting the pavement hard. Ethan, the smallest but scrappiest of the three, hesitated. He wasn't used to seeing anyone fight back like this. He looked up at Adam, who was calm, his eyes sharp but not angry, just focused. Do you really want to try this? Adam asked, his voice steady. Ethan's bravado crumbled. He shook his head, taking a few steps back. No? Good choice, Adam said coolly, turning his back on them and walking away as if nothing had happened. By the time school was over, the entire school was buzzing with what had happened. The word spread fast. Adam, the quiet new kid, had taken down Max and his entire gang in less than a minute. It was the kind of thing that no one could stop talking about. Max, humiliated, swore revenge, but no one took him seriously anymore. The respect that Adam had earned, just by standing up for himself, had made an impact. As days passed, people began to notice more about Adam. He wasn't just a fighter. He helped out younger kids who were getting picked on. He volunteered for projects and activities, offering to lend a hand without expecting anything in return. He became the kind of person people looked up to not because of his strength, but because of his kindness and sense of fairness. Slowly but surely, the atmosphere at Riverstone High began to shift. The bullies, who once ruled the school with fear, started losing their power. Adam, the quiet new kid, had become someone everyone respected. And for the first time, Adam felt like he had found a place where he could truly be himself, a place where he wasn't just the tough fighter, but the protector of those who couldn't stand up for themselves. The story of Adam's stand against the bullies spread far beyond the walls of Riverstone High. It became a story of how one quiet, unassuming person can change the atmosphere of an entire school, simply by being who they were. Adam might have come to Riverstone as just another face in the crowd, but by the time he left, he was much more than that. He had found his place, and in doing so, had changed the lives of those around him. And that's the story, my friends. The story of a quiet kid who wasn't afraid to stand up for himself and others. It's a reminder that sometimes, the people who seem ordinary on the outside carry a strength inside that can make all the difference. Thanks for listening, and I hope you found something inspiring in Adam's story. See you next time.